Welcome to this episode of CynSpeaks. In this episode, we're going to talk about opening yourself up after you've been through some things, because that is not so easy to do, but it is so important. So we talk a lot about trauma and everything, but what about recovering from that and starting over and redesigning your life after you've been through some stuff? That is challenging and more common than you would think, but it is so important, and it's such an important step in the healing process just to have the ability to open back up. And the easiest way to talk about this is through relationships. So I'm going to address it very generally with the example of relationships, just because it's very clear and easy for people to understand, but it can be applied to many scenarios. So when you think about trauma, specifically in personal relationships, you think about heartbreak and breakups, and those are all challenging, but on the other side of it, you have a lot of lessons that you get to learn, and then you get to open back up and try it all again through dating. So I want to think about it from that perspective. So when you talk about being open, first talk about what required you to close off, or what happened that you felt that you needed to close yourself off. And that's usually some type of hurt. Usually it's a breakup or something that leads to a breakup, and you're hurt. And that's terrifying. There are stages of healing from that. There are stages of grief. You go through many, many different emotions, and you may go through them over and over again until you can grow through it and move on. But at the end of the day, the goal is to get you back to being open. And after you've been through a breakup, there is something that really has to happen in order for you to know that you're open for the next step, which is dating again. And that is healing and learning to self-love and learning the lessons. So there are 3 things, but learning the lessons usually can happen pretty quickly after a breakup. You can kind of look at why things happened after you're past the space of completely blaming the other person. Because when you're pointing the finger at somebody else, even if they were completely at fault, you're not serving yourself, because you're not allowing yourself to be open to learning the lessons that can help you do better in the future. If the only issue is all the things that person did, you have no control over the future. So you want to take control over your future life by looking for the lessons. That could be red flags that the person, showed you in the beginning stages of the relationship. It could be many things. It could be things that they did or said that you should have known better. You should have known that they weren't going to align with you. It could have been the fact that you didn't know yourself. It could have been that you didn't love yourself and you didn't know your worth, so you couldn't expect them to know your worth. It could be the fact that one person didn't verbalize their expectations of the other person and then felt that they were justified in punishing them for not meeting those expectations. There are so many ways that could show up, but understanding that there's always a lesson in every situation can help you take ownership over your life and control the outcome next time. Like, you can control how you move in the next relationship and how you approach dating. All of those things are important. You also have to heal. Like, you really have to heal. You have to do the healing and you have to do the work so that you no longer feel any feelings of resentment or anything that lowers and brings down your vibration. Any anger, any hurt, any resentment, those all have to be dealt with and resolved. And that could take time. For some people, it takes time. That's why a lot of people will say, hey, you need to take time before you date somebody else. You really just need to do the work. You need to do the work in healing yourself so that you can be whole and prepared and ready for somebody new. And that timeline is going to look different for every person. I've heard people say that you need to take it'll take you twice as long as you were with the person to heal from the person. So if you were with somebody for 5 years, it'll take you 10 years to heal from them. To me, that's crazy. That doesn't align with what I believe, because I believe that healing can be a very quick process. If you really intently put in the work on a very serious level, you can heal very quickly. So I don't believe that. Some people say you need to be single for a year before you start dating again. I don't think that applies to everybody either. I think it's a per case basis. So whatever works for you, but think about healing before you jump back in so that you are whole and ready to go for whatever adventure may come next for you. Also, you want to make sure that you know how to love you. I always say you are no good to anybody else if you are not whole. You cannot help anybody else if you are not okay. If you do not know how to love you, you cannot teach anybody how to love you. You cannot put an expectation on anybody else to treat you what you're worth if you don't even treat you what you're worth. Like, if you don't mind and serve yourself, like, you can't expect somebody else to be mindful of you and serve you or love on you. Like, you just can't expect that. And the more you can fill yourself up, the less you will really require of a relationship, and the more comfortable and happy and fun that relationship will be. Because at the end of the day, a relationship is meant to be fun. So thinking about like really, really, really learning how to self-love, that is the most important piece. Until you do those things, opening up to somebody new really isn't an option, because it won't be genuine. Like, it will be a fake facade of you trying to open up, but it won't turn out very good, and it won't feel good for you, and it'll feel forced. So really being mindful of how you feel and accepting how you feel, not judging yourself throughout the process, because it's a process that will take time. All of those are so huge and so important. You want to make sure that you also remember that even in your healing process, there's something on the other side, and that is the fact that you will be okay. So just remember that everything will work out for you. Everything will be okay. And just keep that like at the forefront of your thoughts. As you move through the milestones of the healing process, make sure you're acknowledging and celebrating those. If you go to the movies by yourself for the first time, get excited about that, because you're learning to love you, and you're learning to spend quality time with you, and you're on that path. You're moving in that process, and celebrate that, because those are hard to do. Those aren't easy to. It takes bravery to go to the movies by yourself. I don't think you realize how hard that may be for somebody, especially if you've been used to being with somebody for so long, for years. It may be hard to go out to eat by yourself or go to the movies by yourself. If you just do it, like, pat yourself on the back, be proud of yourself, enjoy it, have fun, as if you had somebody with you, and you never know how long it will be until you have somebody with you. Also, when you go and you do things by yourself, you'll meet people. There are other people that go and do things by themselves, and you'll meet people and you'll be able to have fun. So just go for it and celebrate all those steps. Also, like, once you've gone through those healing process steps, just make sure that you don't look back with feelings of negativity, like any regret. Because if you regret, like, making the decision to be with somebody or making the decision to leave somebody, you're still living that life. And you're not ready to kind of move into something new. So you want to make sure that if you do look back, it's to celebrate the good times and to look at the good things that person did for you, and add that to your list for the next time around, next relationship. When you're opening back up, regardless of if you're deciding to re-explore a relationship with the same person or a new person, no judgment, you want to make sure that you're just ready and that it feels good. And if at any time you find yourself going back to the past with your thoughts, like thinking about the person you were with before, or even comparing. Like, you don't want to compare something new to something old, because something new is in alignment with your current vibration and something old is in alignment with your old vibration. So you want to make sure that you're not comparing the two, because they're not the same. So if you are looking back, just to look back at the positives, but don't compare that to your current situation. And then decide what you need. You can't decide what you need unless you know you. You can't know you unless you love you. So really, all of it goes together. When you know who you are, you'll know who works best with you. When you know who you are, you know what the perfect complement to you looks like. So that is the value of just knowing you and knowing what works for you. I also think that, like, dating, that's a whole huge topic by itself. But when you get to a point where you start to open yourself up to consider dating again, and just open your energy back up for the universe to bring people into your life, be patient with that process too, because if you try to force it, it's not going to work out well for you. So just be at peace with whatever that looks like, and just really keep the focus on having fun, and you'll see how fun will start to come to you. The people that will connect with you will be for fun, and the people that you spend your time with will be fun, and you'll have fun in any experience, regardless of what it looks like. You'll have fun. And when you're whole, and when you are happy, and when you are complete on your own, and you connect with somebody who is also whole and happy and complete, that connection and those experiences will be rooted in so much joy and fun. So this person won't necessarily bring you joy, but they'll add to the fun of your life. And when you're ready to step into something with the mindset of, I have everything I need, but this person could just add to that and make it more fun. They can enhance my experience, but I'm okay with me. That is when you are in a space to step into a very healthy and happy relationship. And I really believe that will come to you in the perfect time. So just making sure your focus is on you and having fun. Also, if you follow or understand or agree with the rules of engagement with regards to the law of attraction and manifestation, a huge part of that is releasing. So if you have put your thought on this ideal person and you've sent them the message out so that, your spirit guides and your angels and the universe to bring you what you want, the other side of that is to release it and to stop focusing on it, because it's already done. Like, it's already on its way. The person is already on their way. They may be being prepared for you. They may be getting ready in some way. Like, they may be manifesting you too, which I think a perfect union, that's exactly what it is. And they'll come to you in the perfect time. So until then, just enjoy your life by yourself. And you just never know how life is going to set things up for you to attract and just cross paths with that ideal person for you. So opening up, it doesn't have to be scary. It can be fun. It really should be fun to open back up again. And if you think that your past is going to repeat itself, it probably will. You'll be vibrating on a lower frequency, which will attract the things that you had before, which will probably hurt. And I don't want that for any of you guys. So think about your healing process first before you think about opening up. Think about you and evaluate where you're at. And if you're okay, like, are you okay by yourself? Like, are you okay with this version of you? Is this the best version of you right now in this moment? Are you really proud of the you that you are? Because that's what you will attract. You will attract people that are in alignment with where you're vibrating. I experienced this, and I was attracting people that were not really what I wanted. So I was like, okay, hold on. I need to go back to the drawing board with regards to me and what I'm doing. And I need to make sure I am in alignment with what I want. I need to make sure I am living in my purpose, because I want to attract somebody that's living in their purpose. I want to make sure that I am stable and secure and at peace with myself because I want somebody that's the same. So I had to go back to the drawing board. And that's really where my focus is now, is living in my purpose. And I have faith that everything else will work itself out. So I really hope this one helped. This is a big one. I think I'm going to start talking more about the whole dating stuff. We'll see. But yeah, that's a new world for me. And my focus has been me and my healing. And I see now how it's changing the type of people that I've been attracting. So thank you for joining this one. This one's heavy. Let me know how you're coming along with your healing process and how you're feeling throughout the process, and keep me posted. Make sure you guys subscribe, share the episodes, follow me on Instagram at Cynamon Voe, and tag the podcast, #CynSpeaks, with anything that you post so that I can follow and like and share and show love. And thank you for joining again. I really appreciate it. Until next time.